I'm late again! So anyways, hello everyone, and yes, I'm a little bit late, but things, as usual this time of year, kind of happen. That being said though, hopefully there's still time for you late Christmasers to possibly enjoy one last Christmas movie before the end of the year. Hopefully I get to send this up before the end of the year. We'll see! But anyways, here is the intended Christmas review. As I've been trying to do for the last couple of years, I've tried to find at least one Christmas-styled movie and try and give you guys a review for it. So much like the Santa Claus a year or two ago, here we have The Christmas Chronicles. The Christmas Chronicles is a Netflix original, and I don't know if it's going to be released on DVD or anything yet, but some things have gone onto DVD and Blu-ray and so forth after their Netflix debuts. This one in particular features a Santa Claus who is trying to travel around the world as he usually does and trying to deliver gifts. This happens to also focus on two children who have just recently lost their father, and in the midst of their still deepening depression about the fact, the daughter finds a clip of theirs from when they used to always record Christmas Eves, and finds that there's a particular frame or two where she sees a red sleeve of a white present reach beyond the screen and drop off a present at the tree while their parents are not looking. This sets her and her brother, who have been also spiraling out of control away from each other as well as becoming issues for their own mother, to finally team up together once again for the first time in almost a year or so, it seems, and decide to try and spy on Santa Claus if possible. They do set up an alarm system for themselves, which does go off, and they barely get outside just in time to see a red-dressed shape hopping from rooftop to rooftop, and also catch a quick glimpse of the sled as it's slowly being pulled by the reindeer while temporarily in mid-flight and supposedly holding position more or less, waiting for Santa Claus to come back and continue the rest of the flight. The children manage to get on board the sled. They immediately regret it as it becomes too cold for them while in the midst of travel, and try to talk to Santa Claus to see if they could head back. By the time they do so, however, the device has already gone off. They are teleporting through several nations before crash landing in Chicago. The sled is ruined, the deer have escaped, and the hat and the Christmas bag have all been lost, and it's up to the two children, Teddy, Kate, and Santa himself to try and find everything and bring it all back together before things go awry. The last time that Christmas was ever cancelled was apparently in the Middle Ages. And, as Santa puts it, bad things happen. So in order to prevent another Middle Ages from happening, they must quickly hurry to begin sending out the presents once more to remind humanity of the good cheer that it has within itself. So with that being said, the basic premise is not actually a bad one. I do like the fact that they are honing in a little bit more on the fact that Santa's here maybe as a mythological creature, but also could also hint to adults as a less mythological creature that Christmas is kind of designed, even though it's very, very much in the grips of capitalism and selling you shit and so on and so forth for presents and decorations and all that, that there's still a good soul to what is going on here in Christmas holidays, and that there are good things about it, and that it also does help remind good people to remain good and do more good things for one another, and to help those in need and less fortunate than ourselves, which is by far and away a good message to have. So thank you for the wonderful message. On top of that, we got a little bit of action. We got kid-friendly, but a little bit of action. And we've also got a small musical number towards the middle, where our Santa Claus gets to reenact his own Elvis, to which I might remind the audience that Kurt Russell, while he did have roles before this particular movie, his big first breakthrough was Elvis, where he impersonated Elvis for a movie. It's not 100% historically correct, but what people have taken away from his Elvis movie is that he did a really good job of representing the man himself, as well as being able to reenact speeches and singing segments from the man himself. So Kurt Russell has always had a little pinch of Elvis in him. So this is just him possibly convincing the producers that maybe just give me a little Elvis moment and have some fun with it, which is not a bad thing. I like Kurt Russell's interpretation of Santa Claus as well. He will have little comical bits and moments, but he doesn't take it too far, and he still tries to remain at least semi-grounded and serious about what he's doing, if he doesn't take it necessarily all the time. So it's a nice little combination. It's a nice even middle ground for this particular Santa, and Kurt Russell does it really well. Also with him are his two younger co-stars, and I'm going to pull up my glasses here so I can read their names really quickly. Which would be Judah Lewis as Teddy and Darby Camp as Kate. They do really good jobs pretending to be children, or at least acting on screen as children, I should say, and not being, like, exceedingly annoying, which can very easily happen to children. I aim you to any Gamera film with an obscene amount of children. They can be overly precocious and make you want to bash your own head in. They managed to get away with it doing pretty well of a job. They are a little precocious, and the older boy is a little bit angsty, but that kind of happens. It's not like it's totally detached from reality. Teens do get angsty and jealous and all this other shit once in a while, and it doesn't help that technically his father is dead recently and passed on. So they at least drove it with some sense of reality. The only takeaways I would say that are negative from the Christmas Chronicles is that the elves were a little too animated. But I think that might be the factor of the budget, because again, this is a Netflix original. I'm not sure who's actually behind this, but that being said, despite the inherent cheapness of the animated elves against the live-action humans, they still had their moments of fun. The candy cane eating elf having accidentally gotten some of the pages stuck in Santa's list. The one who's really big into power tools and got to use his chainsaw to open up a hatch into the prison to help save Santa. The other one that just out of the clear blue puts down a metal welding mask and pulls out a blowtorch was particularly amusing when they were asked if they could help fix the sleigh. And you've got the cute little leader who is at least somewhat bossy, but also very understanding and quickly helps direct the elves in the proper direction, along with Kate when needed. So overall, really good casting. The animation is a little but it's Netflix, and it's also supposed to be children-friendly, so I'm not expecting Golden Globe or Oscar-winning performances, but the performances from our main cast are pretty good, and the secondary cast, shall we say, do reasonable jobs themselves, given what they are having to act through, which I guarantee you, again, made for family-friendly stuff, so it's not going to be the best written things, but it was solidly written, very solidly acted. The outside of the elves, the reindeer were actually relatively well done, I think. as well as the sled, but inanimate objects are always really easy to do with CG, so they get a freebie on that one just about. It's nice to see their little twist on the magical abilities of Santa and how he's able to deliver so quickly. He technically has a teleportation system inside of his sleigh to help him get from one country to another very quickly. And also, as a quick little nod, he actually does put his finger alongside his nose and teleports back up to his sleigh at one point. And also gives us a final ho 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 on his way out. Also, another thing I noticed, I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but the Elvish language they actually use in the movie, which they do use if you're watching it on Netflix. I don't know if you can turn that off or not. But it seemed that the Elvish language they used in the movie seemed very German to me, which lends itself to the whole St. Nicholas mythos, which Santa in this movie does say he prefers to be called St. Nicholas. So that was a nice, possibly, maybe unintended touch, but it seemed like a nice touch to me. Also, a nice little quick mention to, I think it was Goldie Hawn, who plays Mrs. Claus. I knew her when I first saw her, but I couldn't quite place her right away. It's been a long time since the last time I saw her act. So seeing her in this was actually a nice little treat. Just a quick little last-minute thing with her as Mrs. Claus after the entirety of the story is done and dealt with. So, if I was to try and rate this, I hate having to give numbers because numbers really don't tell you much. I would say that this is a good family film, not a great, not a mediocre, not poor. This is a good substandard film. This is above your meh average, but not as high as, say, your oh my god, this is the next Goonies for Christmas kind of deal. This is at least decent. This is good enough that you'll, at least if you're watching it on Christmas Eve with the family, you might look up at it once or twice and not be disgusted by it, and it might hold your interest a few minutes here and there. Overall, a decent movie. Not great, not terrible, not mediocre. Just kind of decently good. And for that, I can't argue against the Christmas Chronicles. Seek it out at your local Netflix, and maybe if it's popular enough, wait for it to come out on DVD and or Blu-ray at your local Walmarts. That's all for now. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next month for our next film review. See you all then.